Hello everyone, I'm Naira Rodriguez and I'm an astrophysicist, science communicator and coordinator of astronomy education programs at the Instituto de Astrofísica de Canarias, the IAC. And today I would like to talk about gender stereotypes in astronomy. What would happen if we asked young people today to describe a physicist, an astronomer, or an engineer? The vast majority will instantly think of them. The characters from the popular TV series Big Bang Theory, who are portrayed as weird, freaky, extremely intelligent men with few social skills. These representations contribute to making physics and engineering seem unattractive to young men and women, but have an even greater effect on girls who do not see themselves reflected at all. We can contribute to changing gender stereotypes in astronomy with a positive discovery. This is the case of students who expect to talk to an astronomer or an engineer and discover a woman in street clothes, friendly and approachable, who talks to them about science and technology in an accessible way. The ideal format to carry out this experience is face-to-face, but this has several drawbacks. The time investment is considerable, the number of students per talk is usually quite small, and the territorial scope is often limited to the region in which the speaker lives or works. And if we want to reach schools that are farther away, the time invested, the environmental impact, and economic expenses skyrocket. In 2017, a group of female colleagues from the IAC began to meet with the aim of co-creating initiatives that could contribute to change gender stereotypes in astronomy. What came out of those meetings? First of all, we identified the goals we wanted to achieve and the target audience we wanted to reach. Recent studies indicate that the stereotypes relating intelligence and gender emerged at early ages, about 6 years old, and that gender science stereotypes increase rapidly with age. So we decided to focus on school children from kindergarten to high school. And the specific goals we wanted to achieve were to make visible the work of women in astronomy and related fields, to provide girls and boys with professional role models with whom they could identify, and to foster interest in STEM among students, especially in girls. We chose the video conference format in order to offer a close and contemporary view of the women working in astronomy, and at the same time, we wanted to reach as many schools as possible quickly and sustainably, mainly in our country, Spain, where there are still many regions that do not have a research center nearby to interact with in person. This is how Talk to Them, Women in Astronomy came about, a project in which astronomers and engineers hold video conferences with the schools in which we explain our work and answer students' questions about the STEM careers, the universe, and the methods and tools we use to study it. The speakers are staff from the IAC and collaborating institutions, and the first edition of the project took place in 2019 and involved 13 speakers. Last year, we were 20, and this year we are 27 speakers from 11 different institutions. You can see all of them here, and I would like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to all of them for their participation and enthusiasm. How are we developing the project? The working model we chose was as follows. Each edition, the coordinator, me, makes a call for participation among IAC staff and collaborating institutions and compiles a brief CV of each volunteer. Our design expert creates the poster, banner, and other designs for the website, and I prepare the web content, the request forms, and evaluation surveys. I share with the collaborators several presentations and other informative materials for the talks and indications for the management and implementation of the video conferences. I'm also in charge of dissemination, communicating with the collaborators, and evaluation. Teachers request video conferences by filling in a form where they propose dates and times and are responsible for organizing the activities in their schools. And the collaborators select the activities that suit their availability, agree with the teacher the final day, time, the topic, and the software to be used for the video conference, and carry it out. And what has been the scope of the project so far? The initiative has been very well received by the educational community in these 3 editions, and until now we have held 124 video conferences with the schools in 15 out of the 17 Spanish autonomous communities, some of them also in rural areas, and we have reached more than 4,800 students from kindergarten to high school and vocational training. Last year, just 1 month after we started our activities, a lockdown was declared in Spain to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, and face-to-face classes were suspended. All the collaborators confirmed that they could continue with the project from home, so we contacted the schools and offered them to do the activities in multi-conference format. For most schools, this was great news, but about 30% of the teachers told us that, unfortunately, a high percentage of their students did not have the means to connect to the video conference from home. So these activities has been postponed to this year. What has been the impact of the project in relation to our goals? In order to be able to evaluate it, we prepare and send assessment surveys to the participating teachers and students. Let's start with the teacher's perception of the activity. Surprisingly, more than half of the teachers answered that their students had no preconceived ideas about the speaker's profession. The most common stereotype identified by teachers is that of difficult STEM careers, followed by gender stereotypes and few attractive career opportunities. The vast majority of teachers rated the activity as quite or very positive for their students, and in terms of the contribution of the activity to changing gender stereotypes in STEM among students, 69% of the teachers consider that this goal has been met to a great extent. And finally, the contribution to the promotion of STEM vocations was rated between quite a lot and very much by 64% of the teachers, although this is not a main objective of the project. Our efforts in these areas focus more on hands-on educational projects. We now turn to the surveys answered by the students, only from last year of primary education to high school and vocational training. And we find that teachers' perception agrees quite well with what students themselves value. For example, the large majority of students like the activity quite a lot to a lot, and 79% answer that it interests them in the same degree. And as for the change in perception of STEM professions, the ratings are more evenly distributed, with 40% of students for whom the activity has made a significant difference. We have also evaluated the project from the point of view of the collaborating speakers through surveys and also meetings in which we share our experiences and impressions. And here is a summary of our lessons learned. We have found that much better use is made of the time during the video conference if teachers work on the topic of the talk beforehand with their students. And also that asking the students to prepare questions beforehand results in a loss of spontaneity and encourage more technical questions, some of which are searched for on the internet. On how to develop video conferences, our experience is that it is much better to have classroom cameras turned on and use programs that allow you to see the students while you present to get feedback on their level of interest. With the younger ones, the ideal is a very short talk with 1 or 2 basic concepts and leave the rest of the time for questions. And there will be plenty of them. And some of the things I have learned as a coordinator include that it's very useful to activate automatic mailing to all speakers when a new application arrives, so we don't have to check the list of applications every day. And also to share with the speakers outreach materials and recommendations for talks adapted to school audiences. And now I would like to end by telling you what surprised us most. Fundamentally, it was the curiosity and capacity for analytical thinking of the youngest children. From the fields of science communication and education, we have to ensure that these little minds do not lose their scientific capacity as they get older. And of course, to bridge the gap with society so that they support and do not discourage young people's STEM vocations. Thanks a lot.